on French cheese that we don't produce.
You should agree with me. The best free trade model to protect our standards and our food security is within the European Union and the single market.
We should get rid of trade barriers.
We have no advantages.
We should get rid of trade barriers for safe food.
There isn't one advantage of Brexit,
huge,
Jacob.
And I'm delighted to be joined now by a regular on GB News, former Lib Dem candidate for the Cotswolds and founder of Save British Farming, Liz Webster. Liz, thank you for coming in. I have a sneaking suspicion it may just be possible we could agree on this, that the EU is a heavily regulated organisation. So why should we suddenly think cheese from France is dangerous? It may not be as nice as cheddar from Somerset, but it's not actively dangerous.
Well, it's not as simple as that, and it never is. The reality is that anything coming via Rotterdam is able to get in without any checks. And obviously, we're being penalised with checks. The answer is to agree to a veterinary agreement, dynamically align with EU regs, and we get rid of the barriers, or most of them.
But what you want to do is rejoin the EU. That's basically always been your position, hasn't it?
Because for food and farming,
let's have the wonderful picture from your family farm that came up when there was a campaign, the second referendum. Put it on the screen now. There we go.
Yes.
That was your family farm. So we know you want us to be effectively part of the EU.
Yeah.
And if we align to their veterinary rules, we might as well not have left. That would be completely pointless. And we wouldn't get the advantage of cheaper food for our consumers.
The thing is, Jacob, that we've left and we failed to remain. And I accept that we have Brexit. I'm not a denier of reality. But now things have moved on and we're experiencing Brexit. And many of my friends in farming who did believe in Brexit have come round to realise that these trade deals are undercutting us with substandard foods, and also the complete unfairness.
Oh, hold on. The EU food isn't substandard. No, the EU food isn't substandard. That's a different argument.
I just explained anything coming via Rotterdam, it's a huge port, can come in here, including illegal food.
If it goes into Rotterdam, it has to meet EU regulations.
And that's why foodborne illness is going through the roof.
If it's gone into Rotterdam, it's met EU regulations. It can't go in without meeting them.
No, because we've left all of
No. But things that are transported through
you can't just argue over me. You need to let me speak.
I am letting you speak. But
if you want me to be on the show, you need to let me speak.
Things that are transported through the EU have to meet EU regulations.
No, they don't, because we've left all of the organisations, and we didn't have to. That was a decision by your friend, Boris Johnson. We didn't have to leave all of the certain bodies which ensured that we were within the security system of the food system. But we've left all of that. So a friend of mine who imports foods imported some starch from India, which came via Rotterdam, and it was absolutely full of bugs, because nobody's checking anything that comes in here, including hordes of illegal meat, which is full of bugs, not refrigerated, and an absolute risk to human health.
But this is products being imported illegally. As you know perfectly well, goods that come from the EU into the UK through a legal channel
a lot of them are coming from
now
Eastern
going to
Europe.
be checked. If goods are coming in illegally, that's an entirely different matter. As you know, that they're evading checks anyway, so these checks don't stop illegal goods. They're nothing to do with illegal goods.
We didn't have anywhere near this level of illegal food coming in when we were within the body of the European Union.
Yes, we did. We had horse meat coming from Romania. You must remember that scandal.
Horse meat doesn't kill you, Jacob. We just don't like eating horse in this country. And it was also the corporations. But also nowadays, you wouldn't even know about the horse meat because nobody's checking anything.
You would, because
every label is labels now for minced beef, which they packaged in the UK, and it doesn't even give you the origin of where that meat has come from.
Goods that come in from the EU are tracked right back to the farm, as you know. What I'm saying is that we should trust safe countries, and this includes New Zealand, but it also includes the EU, because their products are safe. You're trying to argue about something completely different, which is illegal goods coming into this country, which you try and check in a completely different way. Smuggled meat and goods from India that are pretending to be from the EU won't be affected by this change in the regulations.
Millions of pounds on white elephant checking facilities, which are not going to be used. First of all, we've got a labour shortage.
They should be scrapped, those checking facilities.
I've just recently come back from Africa, where I went from Botswana through to Zambia, and we had to go through significant checks because of the agricultural risks of spreading disease. We've already got blue tongue in Britain now since Brexit, and it is because we've got
this... Blue tongue has no relationship with Brexit.
Because we've not got any checks and we've left all of the food security mechanisms within the European Union.
This simply isn't true. We have kept checks on goods coming in from countries outside the EU, and illegal goods coming in has always been a problem. There's always been an issue with smuggling, and you're trying to conflate the two and blame them on Brexit, which is completely different.
But going back to, I mean, you want to argue and hold your position, and that's what you want to do. I'm somebody that's based in reality and working in agriculture. I understand food, and I understand the system.
You want higher prices for British people for food.
No, I do not.
I want my constituents to buy food at competitive world prices.
You promised the country they would get cheaper food.
And they should do.
Food is more expensive because of Brexit, also other world events. But Brexit has made food more expensive, and domestically produced food...
This isn't true. We've got a trade deal with Australia which will reduce the cost of food. This is very welcome. This is why I object to this so strongly, because this is the British government deciding to put up the cost of food, which is crazy.
The farmers in your constituency in Somerset must be jolly upset.
No, they're highly competitive.
Firstly, they have lost access to Canada because of Brexit and the trade problems in the trade agreements. They've lost access for all of their cheese. They're the biggest cheese producers in Somerset. And secondly, you're saying that you favour Australians coming in, sending us hordes amounts of their products
because
to undercut us.
All we do
and you
is
also
subsidise
the Europeans
Irish,
to
French
have an advantage.
And Dutch
you want
beef
the Europeans to have an advantage on us. So we have huge trade barriers exporting to them, and you want them to have a freedom to come in as well and not have the same.
Tit for tat trade barriers don't benefit farmers, and they hurt consumers.
It's no different sending your English team out to play in the World Cup with chains on their legs and on their feet.
A lot of the goods we import from the EU we don't produce. So what on earth is the point in putting penalties on French cheese that we don't produce?
You should agree with me. The best free trade model to protect our standards and our food security is within the European Union and the single market.
We should get rid of trade barriers.
We have no advantages.
We should get rid of trade barriers for safe food.
There isn't one advantage of Brexit.
There's a huge cheaper food for British consumers. Liz, thank you for coming on. Former Lib Dem candidate Liz Webber coming in to see us.
Webster, sorry.